if a car were driving by and doesn't see it, the tire could get stuck. And they're concerned now about cars still driving by and knocking that lid back off. Cars are lined up here as parents arrive for that meeting. They're still trickling in. And I'm told the main reason they're coming out is because they want to know more information about the sale of this building. He said he was trying to get out of his car when someone held a gun to his neck, took his wallet, his phone, and his vehicle. A lot of trees have fallen here. There's a few signs that are bent backwards. If you look right up there, you can see part of this power line has come down. Young even compared questions from the media today to the Jerry Springer show. He said he will take questions eventually, but just did not specify when that will be. Right now, I'm working on reaching out to the 3 people that are quoted by the campaign as defending Moore against the allegations made against him. But all it takes is a quick walk down the street to see that the houses that are considered in the city have a completely different trash can. Many of these things, Max says, were able to be fixed that day, like covering outlets and storing hand sanitizer the right way. A former waitress from that restaurant who says she doesn't remember seeing either of them there, and she doesn't really want to say whether or not she believes who is lying or who's telling the truth. I want to show you something. Look right over here. You see these stairs and this yard sign? It kind of looks like the entrance to a home, right? Well, that's because that's exactly what it was, leading up to a trailer that sat right here.
A Prattville trucking company sent thousands of pounds of items to Houston. But for one employee, that effort hits especially close to home. WSFA 12 News reporter Morgan Young with the story that's new at 10.
By Wednesday night, this semi-truck will be stocked with water, food, and supplies heading to Houston, with Lily Gum behind the wheel.
It's very emotional.
Gum lost her home in Baton Rouge last year when the city was hit with devastating floods.
It was just horrific. Words cannot describe just how devastating it was.
Her memories remind her these donations are needed.
The after effects, the stench, piles of debris. There was no electricity. It was dark and very eerie. The mold.
To be able to help provide some relief, she says, is humbling. John Kolaski, owner of Cross and Crescent Transportation, led the collection effort. He says he is also humbled by the overwhelming number of donations.
We've had people coming from all the way from Tuskegee to right up the road, so now I absolutely wasn't expecting it, but I'm glad it happened.
Support, something Lily Gum says anyone needs when recovering from this kind of tragedy.
At this point, everyone is the same. They're all in the same situation.
Something she is happy to deliver, never forgetting what the same kind of support taught her and her community not too long ago.
You're going to learn gratitude, thankful that you made it through the storm. It has brought us together, and I hope this will do the same for Houston.
Now that truck should be on the road right now. It left for the 10-hour drive to Houston as soon as it was loaded up. And Mark, that truck holds 48,000 pounds. Still not enough for all those donations. They're actually holding the leftovers to send to anyone affected by Hurricane Irma. If you type in Betty McDade's address to your Maps app, it'll show that it's in Montgomery, Alabama. But if you ask her, she'll tell you her home that she's lived in for 20 years.
We've never been in the city.
Which doesn't make sense to her because homes on the same street as her home and right across the street are a part of the city. She says it's a safety concern.
If you're coming down the street and you're traveling faster than the speed, the police cannot do anything to you.
It's more expensive.
The insurance is more.
About how much more?
About $200 to $300 more.
And
it's dumb.
This is the trash can that you use if you live in one of the county homes on this road. But all it takes is a quick walk down the street to see that the houses that are considered in the city have a completely different trash can marked by the city of Montgomery that gets picked up twice as often. Luckily, McDade and 11 other residents in her neighborhood were able to petition to be annexed into the city. Now that the paperwork is done, there are only a few steps left.
You have to get approval by the city council, then the mayor is then authorized to go in the probate office, and then now they're part of the city of Montgomery.
Which McDade says will be a great day for her and some of her neighbors. As heavy rain falls down, residents living at this intersection say more sewage water flows out of this manhole.
This time, because it rained all night, they've been doing like this since yesterday.
He says it's gross.
Always bag up the bathtub and stool and the smell in the neighborhood. Can't sit out here for the smell.
and means days without showering or toilet use, plus tons of cleaning supplies before it's back to normal. There's also the safety issue. Jackson said when this manhole was first exposed, the lid was completely off. A concern, they say, because if a car were driving by and doesn't see it, the tire could get stuck. And they're concerned now about cars still driving by and knocking that lid back off. The Jacksons say they have called the city of Montgomery multiple times to have it looked at with no results. But Montgomery Waterworks General Manager Buddy Morgan says that could be because the city isn't who they should be calling.
Normally, the city does not have storm manholes in the middle of the street.
It's a waterworks thing, and the department has received about 100 calls about issues like these since Sunday. Morgan says they're happy to help, but the issues stem from two main things: Montgomery's low elevation,
We're saturated now and water's got nowhere to go.
and some harmful littering.
And you got people throwing trash, water backs up, it floods houses, it floods streets. We don't mind getting out there. We keep people on call all the time. We want to serve them.
You just have to know who to call.